Game number 1 in the best of 3 series between the Bounty Hunters and the Enjoyers. The Murky Cup with a bounty system continues when Group A in the winner bracket. And guys, this is going to be pretty epic. I am really looking forward to this. Take a look at the players on the blue team side. We have Breez and Wubby. Breez obviously already subbed in the Anniversary Cup for a team, but now we have Wubby as well, and just the team name alone is already a delight. So they're clearly going to be hunting for those bounties, but having Wubby play some Heroes of the Storm is just absolutely amazing. Now I chatted with him in the lobby a little bit, and he immediately went, "Watch out for my Hawker." I personally said that sounds a little bit sexual, and I told him, hey, don't threaten me with a good time. So I was rewarded by a couple of Diva emotes that he immediately spammed out, but jokes aside, I really can't wait to see what he's going to do today. Just seeing those names again in the Heroes of the Storm lobby is incredible. Now, the Murky Cup, the bounty system, what is all of this? Now, as in the past, we have a couple of rules here. First of all, just standard rule for the entire tournament, heroes can only be played once within a series. So, as usual, you see a hero in a match, you won't see the same hero again played again. Makes it a bit easier for the audience, well, not easier, but more interesting for the audience, and it puts a bit of a strain on the players to come up with new ideas here. But of course we wanted to incentivize this a little bit more, and this is where the bounties come into play. So just to give you an idea of the bounties, I'm going to show you them real quickly. Bounties are essentially quests that teams can complete during the course of a match. They can complete only one bounty per game. They can complete multiple bounties per match. And every time that they complete a bounty, they get a point. They get a bounty point, a ticket. Every time that they fail a bounty, and this is new in this iteration of the tournament, they get half a point. There are a couple of bounties here that get double rewards, but that's only if you complete them. So if you win a game with Butcher, you get 2 of those points. If you lose a series with Butcher, you still get that half point. You can only complete a bounty once as a team. You can fail it as many times as you want. We use this for the first time that you also get half credit if you fail a bounty. We'll see how it goes. If teams find a way to abuse this, we'll obviously change it in the future. But for now, I think it's pretty fine. No team is intentionally going to fail bounties over and over again, because it means that they lose the game, and therefore they would very quickly find themselves out of the tournament. I mean, duh. So the way that this works is that we have a prize pool of 1,000 euros that goes to the top teams as usual, as in any other tournament. And then we have a crowdfunded bounty pool where teams get a share of that bounty pool after the end of the tournament, dependent on how many bounties did they complete and how many bounties were completed in total. If you are watching this on YouTube and you want to contribute to the crowdfunding, there will be a link in the description of the video where you can chip in. Again, the more we have in that bounty pool, the better for the teams, the more they are incentivized to play some crazy stuff here and make these games even more fun. So people have been asking in the past how they can contribute to tournaments directly. This is it right there. Check the link in the description, and then again, you can contribute to the crowdfunding. From a team that calls themselves Bounty Hunters, I expect a lot of bounty hunting. So we'll see what they're going to do here. But we now have Jojo, Uther, and Leo on the side of the Enjoyers. And by the way, you don't have to complete bounties. This is totally optional. If as a team you come in and you say, like, because bounties are handicaps, right? This is all stuff that teams usually don't do because it's just not good on a competitive level. Some of them are maybe a little bit easier to complete, but for example, Twin Blade variant is so bad that nobody ever attempted it when we used that system. So there's definitely a couple of things here that teams don't really like to do. So we incentivize them to do this. But they don't have to. If they just want to fight for the normal prize money of the tournament, they can absolutely do that. So it's up to them. It's an optional thing, but you don't have to go for it. And one of the reasons also why we implement that system and why we, for example, implemented the half credit now is because what I really would like to do is also give teams that regularly play these tournaments a chance to get at least a little bit of pizza money and a bit of prize money, even if they don't make it regularly, into the top 3. And I think this is a pretty good way to accomplish exactly that. They still create a lot of, entertainment for everybody that watches and have a chance to get a bit of a reward. Gul'dan and Doom of the Spider Queen and Genji, so a lot of wave clear. Question is, what is Breez picking at the front line? And so far, no bounty attempts. I mean, the last 2 picks for the Enjoyers, who have in every game that they played so far attempted a bounty. They could do it again, and they do. Asmodan! And Nazebo. Asmodan and Nazebo. Okay. This is getting good. Okay, let's see how this works for them. I mean, they are attempting bounties all over the place. They already played the best of 3 series, and every single game they attempted a bounty. And now they are going for it immediately against the bounty hunters, who are going for what exactly? They go for Muradin. Nope. That's not a bounty. You're called the bounty hunters. What's happening here? Okay, I'm not angry. I'm not angry. I'm just a little bit disappointed. Tomb of the Spider Queen, game number 1. The fake bounty hunters against the enjoyers. Game number 1, over on the left side. Yeah, we're the bounty hunters, but we don't want to pick any bounties. Hazorps on Gul'dan, we got Wubby on Blaze, Dino and Genji, Breez on Muradin, and Yasuo on Anduin. Still, just again looking at the players here, it's already fun. Over on the right side, we got Itrax on Nazebo. Arion on Johanna. Alvaros is going for Asmodan. A lot of globe talents immediately. Greed and Laws of Hope. Well, not a globe talent, but we get Laws of Hope. Lavakal on Uther and Briss on Leoric. He's subbing in today for the enjoyers. A lot of stacking talents. But I like my globe talents. I like Laws of Hope on a map like Tomb of the Spider Queen. I think it's pretty awesome. Ah, Wubby, look at that. The man and his mount. As in the days of old, Wubby on the money pick. As I keep saying, if Wubby rides the money pick, then it has to be good. This is, again, the man rides into battle in style, and there is this persistent rumor that has been going around for a long time right now, that if you ride the money pick, not only do you look better, and you have more luck with the girls, but you also are a little bit faster, just a couple of percentage points, and you do like 2 or 3% more damage. I'm not saying it's true. All I'm saying is people are talking about it, you know? It's a rumor and it just doesn't die. So that might be some... Where smoke, there's fire. That's all I'm saying. I love, by the way, the stacking. If you are in Wood League, please do me the favor and watch this. Because this is Jojo plus Asmodan, and you could see them now in multiple lanes. Immediately coming in, Jojo prepping the minion wave for Asmodan. Some of the others are chipping in, and they are just stacking like crazy. So this is exactly what you need to do right here, and I love it. So, yeah, that's good stuff. By now, we have 32 stacks. Again, it's not a whole lot, but they went only through 2 minion waves. But you will see this a lot more. And this is exactly what they did in the days of old. So back in the day when Asmodan for the first time popped up and was an actual meta pick, it was on Blackheart's Bay. Yes, that map was at some point in a competitive map pool. And was played together with Jojo. So Asmo Jojo would rotate between the top 2 lanes on Blackheart's Bay from one lane to another and just clean out the waves super quickly, stack Asmodan to a point where he could easily just get all of the minion waves destroyed by himself. And in order to get to that point quickly, you need to help him. You need to have other AoE heroes that help Asmodan, and then you can get him into a position very early in the game where he actually has an impact and just doesn't starve for stacks the entire time. So Jojo already picking her talents here, going on level 4 as so often into Subdue. Asmodan still hoping to grab a little bit more, but obviously now they're also looking to get a couple of kills. So Asmodan still getting at least a few, sitting at 50 right now. Pretty big, yeah, model, so this is gonna be the first kill. Alvaros is gonna go down here. Yeah, no, second kill. First kill against Asmodan. So Asmodan is gone, and Genji was able to get the kill here, so Dino moved in and grabbed it. Quick reminder, even if they lose the game, the Enjoyers are gonna get a half point for the bounty attempt, for even trying that. Now, 13 stacks for Gul'dan, so we're gonna keep an eye on him, of course, too. You want to complete this as quickly as you can at the latest before you hit level 16, so that you have the synergy with your level 16 talent Ruinous Affliction. Turn-ins are happening, and the blue team is already starting to take control of the game here. This is obviously also very late game oriented what we're seeing from the Enjoyers. And not only do they stack Asmodan, they're also stacking Nazebo. If they're making it to level 20 and to a high stacked Azmodan, Azmodan is going to get a lot of damage in, and then you have Nazeebo on top of that too. Azmodan can also just deal with a wave clear very easily after he reaches a certain threshold. So there's a couple of arguments on how you could play this well in a late game scenario where Azmodan just tries to help with the defense over and over again as he becomes stronger. And then you have also Nazeebo doing his thing after hitting Vile Infection later on. But Azmodan gets bullied again and Dino gets the kill. So that's the second time. This is a great way of stopping someone from stacking. You just kill them time and time again. Jojo is now sitting on 13 stacks on her level 1. So she's going to be very self-reliant later. Uther, for example, on 7 went into Guardian of Ancient Kings. And here comes the push, and with 3 kills to 0, the bounty hunters that are not hunting any bounties are going for the first few structures here. And, of course, attempt to extend the lead further. That would help them, yeah. Shots are in. Yeah, but they needed to follow up on this one too. But he has 70 stacks already, so it's not too horrible. And by now we're already looking at him with Massive Destruction. So they need to burn this down as quickly as they can, but damn, Genji is just hunting them. Wubby at the bottom of the map, helping the Web Weavers, and Genji to take out the fort. So with the first objective, already the Bounty Hunters eliminate the first fort of the game. So not a single kill for the Enjoyers. But then again, their whole comp is a little bit more late game designed. And Dino has been a pain in the butt, as usual. Now, Azmodan could get a lot here. But yeah, he's sitting at 100 stacks nearly. The early game stacking in the first few waves was great from Azmodan. After that, the whole rhythm that they had going for themselves here definitely fell a bit apart. This one was way better for them now. So they are able to get him good stacks. But we now have level 10 abilities on the blue team side, so they take the lead on this one. And it will be an entire level until the Enjoyers have caught up with it. So there is a chance that we'll even see another turn-in for the Bounty Hunters before we have the Enjoyers get to the same point. So 2 turn-ins in a row are definitely in the realm of possibility. Breez is still threatening Playmaker. He has not taken his level 10 yet. And Anduin could also bubble it up a little bit. Jojo nearly on 10 stacks, so yeah, her self-sustain is gonna be pretty neat in the late game if this continues. And with 100 stacks on Nazeebo, if they ever make it to level 20, it's pretty much guaranteed that they're gonna get their Vile Infection. Horrify, beautiful, and Uther is gone. Yeah, that was perfect. It would have been a bit wild if we would have seen a bubble from Anduin, considering that they have Genji here. I mean, the whole Genji light bomb thing is just massive. Here comes the turn-in for the red team, by the way. So they're going to get the turn-in. Azmodan is going to go full push mode with this and the Demonic Invasion on level 10. So no black pool for him. I honestly expected pool here. I really thought he would go for that and just like push this harder. But instead they're going for the Demonic Invasion, which is going to help him to take out structures whenever they make it close. So they're doing that in the middle immediately. But let's find out as the game goes on how much value he gets out of this. If he's able to get this over and over again, then great. But yeah, Wubby at the bottom of the map. I mean, I have no idea how much Wubby has honestly played over the last couple of months, years, weeks. So it will be interesting to really see how he performs, just in general. I assume once that as the tournament continues and goes through, there's going to be a lot more synergy between them. They've already been scrimming for a while. But now Wubby goes down, Leo gets also killed, but it was the first kill for the Enjoyers, so that's good news for them. A bit of pressure still in the middle. That fort might even fall. Ah, well, now that Gul'dan arrives, they're gonna save. Still, good damage on this mid lane fort, so that could have been way worse. And Joanna, again, gets a lot of stacks together for her level 1, so this is gonna be pretty big. Leorki is dead again. This is a little bit of a theme at this point. This is the 4th time now that he's fallen. Azmodan continues the stacking. Breez turns in, and that is another Web Weaver wave for the Enjoyers. 26,000 damage for Genji. I mean, again, he's been doing most of the work here. Jojo with 24 now. So, yeah, this is going to be pretty big. That's 30% of extra heal now for Johanna. Make sure that Uther is not really... I mean, Jojo can heal herself. Uther is always there to throw out a heal or two, but if need be, Jojo has more and more tools now to keep herself alive. But can they defend here? Azmodan is a little bit stronger now, so they have more tools that they can use. But for that, he has to be alive and he gets killed again. So, this is starting to be a thing here. Azmodan, again, his hit point model is also a bit of a problem with that. They're getting Gary into the mix, the Gargantuan from Nazebo. He's at 125 stacks now. But the structures are falling quickly. And here comes Genji again. They're looking for more kills. And... no, it doesn't seem like they can go for a follow-up here. That fort, they're fighting underneath the fort. They just do not care. And Uther is low. Tries to go for that stun. Nazebo. And Uther is gone. Dino. Oh my god, he actually makes it. Azmodan came back and they were trying to get the kill here, but still can't kill Dino. They at least were able to take down Blaze though. Quest completed for Azmodan. So there's that. They go for Breeze and get a bit more damage connected here, but only a second kill. It's unbelievable to me that Dino actually didn't die. When Azmodan came in and went for another Orb of Annihilation, he just had his shield up and was able to negate the damage. So there's still one level, even more than that ahead. But Dino seems to be unkillable at this point. Azmodan is at 80,000 siege damage. Dino's doing Dino things. Dino is always doing that. At some point in the game, every time that we are on Tomb of the Spider Queen, he's just like, I'm gonna solo the boss now. And then he just goes for it. So, yeah, 22,000 damage for Nazebo. Dino has 37,000 as it stands. Team is still stacking. And, well, they have already a few heroes ready to intercept the minion wave at the top, but they haven't figured out yet that Dino is trying to go for the boss here. And by now he also has some assistance as Wubby is saying hello. And they're still not checking this. They're going for their own camp. I'm not quite sure if they know about it and are just not willing to engage into it, because obviously there's a level 60 talent that we will have in a moment. So fighting into this might also be a bit of a problem. Or if they didn't even catch up on the fact that the boss was being attacked. But I assume that they figured out at some point that not only Genji but also Blaze were missing. Now Jojo with 33 stacks. Rune's Affliction is now in. Oh, Nazebo, no! That's 14 gems gone right there. You can ice block that all day long. Well, he gets the Divine Shield. He's still gonna die. Still gonna die. Nice block with the bunker. Wubby with an awesome play to ensure that Nazebo falls. Makes the defense much harder for them. Webweaver Wave plus boss at the same time. At least they have Azmodan right now. Well, maybe not for long, but he could help with a lot of the wave clear here. But obviously the other team is aware of it, so they just go and throw everything at Azmodan. I mean, they really wanted him dead, and they got him. So Azmodan is dead, so is Nazebo, which leaves only a few defenders, and I do not know if they have what it takes to save the core here. There's so much that is dying. The keep is already gone. The core is getting attacked. But the death timers are very low. They're actually really low now that I'm looking at it. So Nazebo is back and Azmodan will be soon. So they're not pushing for a core here. Instead they're hoping to do a bit more damage on those keep walls. And maybe they can push the bot lane a little bit more even. That Webweaver is still looking strong and healthy. Right there. If level 20 hits for the Enjoyers, they are gonna have Vital Infection. That is basically a given. Late game is... The longer this game lasts, the better for the Enjoyers. It's just what it is. It's gonna be more and more damage in there. Jojo will have more and more survivability. But, of course, this has been one-way street Heroes of the Storm so far. Not a single fort has been destroyed on the side of the Bounty Hunters. But, well, over here, Azmodan now on 290 stacks, which could be better. Goes for the laser, yeah. But Lavakal is in trouble, needs the Divine Shield. Self-Divine. A little bit more damage from Azmodan. I love Azmodan on his little carpet. There's like nothing better. He's so happy when he's on the carpet. In case that you've never seen it, I mean, we're going to keep an eye on it, but yeah, Azmodan on the carpet is just absolutely best. It's incredible. Look at him. Whee! with his arms to the side, and he's just like, whee! He's happy. That's what he should be. I mean, he's ugly as hell. You need to have something in your life that you can be happy about. So, whee! Flying Asmodan, best Asmodan. 308 stacks for him. Nazeebo is keeping his stacks up on his baseline as well. 194 for him now. But the problem is really the 2-level gap between the two of them. The 2-level gap is just nasty. And here comes the next fight. They need kills. They need something to bridge that experience gap. And teamfight victories would go a long way for it. Especially now that they're on even talent tiers. But it's just not happening, is it now? Leo is again low. He goes down, and so does Jojo. Boah, that's how much was it? 60 gems that they've been holding there. Now they go for Asmodan, who's at 30. They're losing everything here. 3 heroes are down, absolutely demolished, and it doesn't stop there. It just continues time and time again. The pressure plays from the bounty hunters as they are moving towards the middle in an attempt to take another keep out. Absolute carnage. 14 kills, 2-2, and it's a bit of a disaster here. They're trying everything, but this is likely gonna be the end of it. The second keep, it falls. Uther has to pop his Divine Shield again just to stay alive here. He makes it, but Leo, for example, he goes down again. This is now the 6th time that he has been killed. Asmodan died 5 times. We have 58,000 damage for Genji. And yeah, they never made it into the late game that they needed for a victory here. This is a game. This is a W for the Bounty Hunters. They claim Tomb of the Spider Queen and lock in the 1-0 lead in this best of 3 series in the winners bracket. GG.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
Infernal Shrines, game number 2. So the Bounty Hunters are in the lead in the best of 3 series. The Enjoyers were not able to make it into the late game when Nazeebo would have had a chance to turn the game around for them. So now, of course, the 10 heroes that have been played on the first map cannot be played again. They've been removed from the map pool, so now they have to try and go for some different options here. But let's figure out what the Enjoyers are now up to, what they have up their sleeves right now. Should be a pretty interesting one, though. I love, by the way, how clean the Bounty Hunters were in a lot of the plays that they made. I mean, honestly, the team is incredible. The team is insanely strong. Which makes it even more surprising for me that they have not locked in a bounty on the first map. I mean, maybe they just wanted to get the lead, you know, and then decide later on what they would do around bounties, but I'm still a little bit surprised by it. Especially with that name, I had them already just marked as going gung-ho for one bounty after another and just jumping in. Also, quick reminder for all of you about the bounties, so again, here you can check them out as usual. Once more, some of those bounties get a double reward. That's only when you complete the bounty. If you try it and you fail, you still only get half a point. But if you complete any of the Butcher bounty, the Twin Blade variant bounty, or the Murky bounty, then you can actually get 2 bounty points. So this is what's all happening around trying to get some money out of that bounty pool, which, again, as I said before, you can still contribute to. There's a link in the description where you can add to the bounty pool through the crowdfunding if you want to support this. But yeah, so this is the bounties here. I adjusted some of them also after feedback that we got. For example, with Abatha, you have to now go for a full Locust build. Before we focused on Monstrosity, but actually full Locust build is a little bit more in the spirit of what we wanted there. And for future tournaments, we can also adjust them a little bit. Keep in mind, though, the idea around bounties is always they're supposed to be easy. There's obviously a lot of bounties that you can technically come up with where you, for example, say like, oh, what if you make a bounty if Jojo leaps on 5 heroes and then Gazlo behind her drops a Gravel Bomb and then you have Tracer running around them 3 times clockwise, and, you know, like, you can make all kinds of weird wombos that would look awesome if they are played out, but a lot of them are quite complicated, and what we're aiming for is just bounties that are easy not only to understand for the audience but also for the players themselves, and that are fairly straightforward. So the more complex you make it, the more different heroes you need in order to make that work. Yeah, the more unattractive those bounties become. One of the things that some people have been pointing out, I'm not really sure if this is a nice idea or not, is like these themed compositions. I think we had it in the first Bounty Cup actually. Where you just go and, you know, you say like, oh, you have to play a StarCraft team, or you have to win a game with a, I don't know, like Overwatch team, something like that. But yeah.
Victory for the Forsaken.
At this point, though, we got Varian, and yeah, I mean, every single time I see Varian in the bounty system, I'm always asking myself, is there a chance that we're going to see Twin Blades? Right now, I don't really believe that's going to be a thing for the Enjoyers, because they probably want to try and win this map. And Twin Blades Varian is a bit rough. By the way, if you're more focused on like quick match or anything, you might look at some of those bounties and be like, hey, I see this every single quick match game that I play. Competitive is different. Competitive, a lot of the stuff that is on that list, some is worse than others, but a lot of the stuff is just pretty bad if you're in a competitive environment. I mean, again, we're literally incentivizing teams with money to do some of this stuff. So, for me, the funniest is always Twin Blades Variant, because you go on any kind of like forum and people are always like, oh my god, Twin Blades Variant, he's so good. And he is so trash in any competitive environment that we had to double the bounty reward for him, because in previous tournaments with it, nobody even tried him. So this will never stop to amuse me. For Varian in a competitive environment, there's taunt and that's it. But you go on to Reddit or any other forum and people are just like gung-ho every time that they see Twin Blades. Tyrande, pretty cool pick here, because now they have Varian taunt into Tyrande stun. They have to play this very clean, but this is a very nice setup for any damage dealer behind it. Now, given the fact that in every single game that they've played so far, they tried a bounty, I wouldn't put it past them to try the same thing here again. But I really would expect one from the bounty hunters, who have now picked Urel and Garrosh, plus Sylvanas are really strong. And here comes Kel'Thas. Alright, so I suppose we're gonna get a Kel'Thas bounty now. If not, then I'm gonna baby rage a little bit, because that, I'm gonna rename them. And here comes Probius. Alright, so we're off to the races. Game number 2, Infernal Shrines, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. We are in the winner bracket semifinal of Group A in Murky Cup number 2. Second map of the best of 3 series. So technically it is now match point. And here it is. The bounty attempt for the bounty hunters. Hazops on Kel'Thas with Convection on level 1. So both teams are attempting a bounty here on Infernal Shrines. We got Yasuo on Malfurion, Dino with the Unfurling Shadows on Sylvanas, Wubby on Urel, and Breez on Garrosh. As over on the right side of the map, we have Arian on Varian, Tychus, played by Breez. We got Alvaros on Probius, their bounty attempt, Itrax on Hogga, and Lavakal on Tyrande. So, who's gonna take it here? Are we gonna get some nice convection values? How's it gonna be able to complete this one? Or how is this gonna look for them? Alvaros down at the bottom of the map, already getting heavily attacked as the Sylvanas comp is aiming for a tower. And they're gonna get the whole thing, aren't they? Maybe not, but this is an enormous amount of damage here. So yes, very nice rotation. These early game Sylvanas rotations obviously can be super, super powerful. And they pulled it off, so yep, nicely done. Oftentimes you see teams backing off after they did half of the tower damage, because again, if there's a rotation coming and it flanks in completely, you oftentimes lose heroes here, but in this case they weren't really too worried. Now, when we're looking over to what the Enjoyers have, Probius can obviously do a lot of damage, especially around the objective. But they still go for Taunt Variant plus Tyrande, so you wanna get some kills here. The problem is, they're the first ones to fall. Varian goes down. He gets eliminated quickly, and that is first blood in the game, as the Bounty Hunters gain a bit of momentum down here. And also, they're gaining a stack for Hazu. Yep. Probius at this point. Yeah, they're gonna do their thing. By the way, you don't have to complete this. So the whole bounty is sometimes a little bit misunderstood. There's obviously an argument to be made, but you don't have to complete Convection. Just winning by picking it is already enough. So there's not going to be any kind of scenario here where all of a sudden one of those teams doesn't get a bounty. So you don't have to complete the quest. Just them picking it is already enough, assuming they win the map. Just as a little bit of a side note. But you would, I mean, you would guess that if somebody is confident enough to go for the talent choice, that they would also be able to claim this. But yeah, either way. So at this point, we have with level 4 finally Taunt in. Finally, duh. And now the chance for them to make a couple of moves around that with the help of Tyrande. I mean, in an ideal world, you have someone like Kel'Thas, of course, face check a bush Bavarian is sitting in. And that would have been an insta-kill, but he immediately moves towards the middle, down at the bottom of the map. We're now looking at another camp claim, so this is actually the neutral one that they were able to get here. First objective is about to pop up as well. And yeah, let's see. Push through the middle. So they're already starting to do some work here with Sylvanas again, and this is something that's going to continue throughout the entire game. I mean, at this point, again, Sylvanas will time and time again jump onto side lanes, do a little bit of damage, just help minions to push through, and it's going to be pretty big. Tyrande, where's the stun? Ah, they missed it. Stun was not fully lined up there. They got lots of damage in on Dino, but he was still able to get out and escape. The combo will be back online in just a couple of seconds. So this is a nice thing about chaining those two together, that it's not really something that is based off a very big cooldown. So they can do that again in a moment. But there's a nice Gravity Lapse follow-up after Varian got isolated. So yeah, well done. They're trying to go for Urel at the top. Wubby, yeah, being really annoying here. But the blue team is falling behind on Shrine minions. So there's a huge lead now for the Enjoyers. Probius is having a big impact on this as well. An early level 7 talent for the Bounty Hunters put the blue team into a nice position. And Hogger gets obliterated. Now they try to go for Probius. Counter kill attempt against Wubby, but he gets out. 34 to 13 stacks. And talking about stacks, nice stacks coming in for Kel'Thas as well. 34 Shrine minions, and they're not gonna get any more. 35. They're still trying to keep them off the point as best as they can, but the blue team is catching up heavily. This is actually a chance that the Enjoyers are not getting that Punisher after all. Now, they're coming back with everything that they have. Hogger's on the way too. 37 to 36. It's so damn close. And Kel'Thas is dead and loses his stacks. The red team gets the Punisher as well. Kel'Thas is gone. Convection is reset to 0. And the Enjoyers with a push through the middle thanks to the Punisher that they just grabbed for themselves. We got the tower defense for Probius on level 7. We got the photon barrier on level 4. And they're getting aggressive in the mid lane with Hogger and Probius split off to the sides, trying to get some extra value on the auxiliary lanes. But yeah, nice. Oh, Varian. Yeah, Garrosh is coming in for Varian and is putting him in real trouble here. This is likely going to be a kill. No, well, they're having a couple of heroes pretty low. Tychus, for example, is in a world of pain too. And Wubby is able to isolate him even further, straight into the hands of Garrosh. And yep, that is a kill. Then again, they got the fort. So the fort has been eliminated. The fort is gone. And that is pretty decent news for the Enjoyers. That's a worthy trade. Like, trading Tychus for a fort, easy. Easy choice. All day, every day. So that's exactly what they needed here. And now we're having teams just stabilizing a bit. But you look over at the experience, for example. They're fairly even. Tyranda's still scouting with the Owl the entire time. We're having 3 kills to 1 now, so still a bit of an advantage for the Bounty Hunters when it just comes to sheer kill and presence in a lot of these situations. But the first objective claimed and put to some good use by the Enjoyers. Now up at the top, level 10 is now kicking in for the Bounty Hunters. Kel'Thas is again on one single stack for Convection. That hurt him a little bit. Dying in that last fight is a problem. Because one of the issues that they're now facing off against as well is that your opponent has level 10 abilities. Makes it a lot easier for them to target a single hero and take him out. Especially if they're willing to sacrifice something. And it's a long way for Convection to be completed if they want to have the full impact of it. And they are obviously, with Kel'Thas, trying for a Flame Strike build. So that's the idea here. Coming in with level 7 and the Burn Flesh, for example. Up towards the top right. Yeah. They are starting to go straight for Itrax, who just paused the game. I'm not quite sure if anybody else maybe dropped out. Yep, we have one dropping out of the game. So Varian is currently gone, and they will have to bring him back. But Itrax at the top, he seems to be, I mean, again, right now it feels like he definitely knows that something is coming his way. The red team was already in the process of rotating towards the top lane when the pause happened. So it really seems that they are fully aware of what's going on here. And with Dino already in position, they clearly want to try and do a bit of damage over on that wall. So the rotation is going to come towards the top. Probius is going to help out there. And Probius, by the way, is currently at 13,000 damage and 57,000 siege damage. This is something that is oftentimes underestimated. Alvaros can do a lot of work on every single objective fight that we have, because this is just absolutely perfect terrain for Probius to get damage out. And quite often, if played well, Probius can end up with some very nice damage output. And yeah, I've even seen him in the top damage numbers. If you compare it to what the blue team is running for now, we have, I mean, Khaldor is sitting at 8,000 hero damage, which is not a whole lot right now. Again, the build obviously playing a huge role here, and him being forced into convection to complete the bounty. But Tyrande, for example, is mega low. It's actually kind of funny to compare Tyrande to Malfurion at this point, 4.6 and 4.9 thousand that they have here. But, yeah. Either way, Sylvanas, she's bringing good damage in. She's basically the main damage dealer together with Urel for them now. Wubby obviously on Urel is more about also utility than raw damage, but we'll see how much he can contribute. But either way, once that we're back from this, we'll see what the red team can do about this. Next objective is going to pop up pretty soon as well. We're going to talk about the bot lane here with the bottom shrine, and then the second Punisher of the game, of course. And yeah, with the first one, they did a lot of damage. Let's see what they can do with Punisher number 2. Marion is back to business. Arian made it back. The problem with them oftentimes... Ooh, actually I like this. They're deciding to go for the bot lane fort instead of defending at the top. That's even better. Great choice here. They're losing a tower, but that is some freebie damage down here, and that's half of the fort HP gone. Just like that. That's a really good choice by them. They were in a great position for this, and they're like, well, if you want to attack our top fort, be our guest. We are just going to go for yours at the bottom of the map, and we are going to be faster, so we're going to trade this easily. Now, Probius is already setting up a little bit. Don't think that the blue team is going to allow this, though. So they're going to take this down pretty quickly. Problem with disconnects is oftentimes that you just don't really know what's going on unless the team is in constant communication with the player. But it could be anything from you just having to restart the game to restarting your PC, or maybe you losing internet or electricity. We've had it all over the past couple of years. So in this case, we didn't have to wait too long, thankfully. But now with level 10 abilities ready, this is going to be our first big fight with heroics, and it will center around objective number 2. Both teams are trying to get their shaman camp. There's no globals that we have in the game, so nobody... Well, you could still have a hero sit at the top lane a bit longer, try and take the opponent's camp out and then rotate down. But obviously it would give your opponent an advantage for the objective, and nobody's really willing to do that right now. This is going to be a highly contested Punisher here. And, well, we're looking at level 13 talents coming up next. Varian is already dancing around Garrosh a bit. Gets instantly thrown in. That's the problem. Tyrande, mind control as well from Sylvanas. As Tyrande popped her ult. That's a lot of zoning, I mean, from both teams right now. Probius is obviously the main tool for the Enjoyers. And they've taken a small lead on the Shrine minions again and are hoping for more. Doubling what the blue team brings in. And we have the Bounty Hunters pushing for the Shrine. It's going to be a frozen Punisher, so a pretty strong one too. But once again, 31 stacks here for the Enjoyers. They're looking fantastic around the objective again. The blue team is catching up quickly, but there will be another push from their opponents to try and make this one happen. And so far, they're not looking too bad. 37, they're about to claim it. They're going for Breez too. Can they get the kill here? Mind control misses, but Breez walks away. The Punisher is taken by the Enjoyers though. So on the objective, the Polish team is doing fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Easy fort, of course. Frozen Punisher should help them to get a bit more damage in. This on the other hand, Varian getting caught, isolated and then killed, shuts down most of the aggression that they could have displayed with the Punisher at the bottom of the map. I guess the best that they could have hoped for in this scenario was to take the wall down. Now it's not really going to happen. They destroyed another fort, so that's already a plus. But we'll see if they can do a whole lot more here. as the game continues. For now, at least, they are structurally in the lead. That's something. So, yeah, that's not too bad. But then again, at this point, we have still more kills probably coming in from the bounty hunters. Bounties doesn't seem to be the only thing that they're hunting here. They're hunting players too. In this case, Hogger was able to escape because he's still at the cooldown up on the Hoarder pull and used that to jump out of the fight. But these little isolation plays that we're getting from the blue team are pretty neat. Taunt is in. They go for Wubby, who still has his ult. And here comes that flank. And once again, it's Breez to make the play straight into Sylvanas, who drops the mind control. And this time, Hogger's gone. They weren't able to take him down with the first attempt, but now Hogger gets eliminated. This is also an additional stack for Khaldor, who's now sitting at 5 stacks on his level 1, going convection here. 38 stacks for Sylvanas. I mean, both of the talents are not getting a lot of stacks here. Hazu died earlier and lost, of course, a few. But Sylvanas is now sitting at 38, which isn't really crazy either. But again, they have 5 kills to 1. So they are the ones to get the kills in and also establish a small lead in experience for now. So that's another one. Urel still sitting down at the bottom of the map. Wubby on the side lane as per usual. 25,000 damage for Tychus, 22,000 for Sylvanas. Khaldor is starting to, I mean, I don't really want to say catch up at this point. He's still behind Urel when it comes to the damage output, but we're seeing a little bit more from the mage on the blue team. Level 16 talents now ready, and this is something that the enjoyers have to get for themselves quickly. It's not a problem for the next objective, which spawns topside. But again, you don't want to take any fights, for example, while they're down a talent, if you can in any way, shape or form avoid it. Probius, after going for the shield battery, is now also going to start to lock in his 16. I mean, first, Varian again, targeted there at the front. We got the interference for Probius. And yeah, now Wubby is jumping in from the side again, being a menace on Urel. Wubby on Urel was always just insane. I still remember when it was at one of the BlizzCons, I think. It was Wubby playing, and I believe it was Wubby. Was it Glorong Samuro? I think something like that. And he decided, and we were all talking about like the talent that he has to pick, and he was like, yeah, they can play around him a little bit, go for the mirror images, and like swap in, play the macro game. And then he went into Bladestorm. And at that point, I just started laughing. It was just like, yep, that game's over. And Wubby single-handedly just destroyed Samuro to an extent where it was just painful to watch. And essentially won the game for that. That was insane. But yeah, so right now, there's the combo. There's the taunt into Tyrande. Lots of damage on Breez, but unfortunately for them, not enough to get that kill. They only have a single kill in this game. I mean, it's not like the blue team has an incredible amount. They have 5 kills so far, but it's still obviously a lot more. 5 times as much, to be honest. But there's another attempt. Yeah, and there's the kill. Varian is still fine, but it is Khaldor that died. Varian made it out of the fight. But Khaldor died again and is reset on his level 1. So they're not getting a whole lot of value out of convection here. There's a reason why this talent doesn't get picked a lot, and you can see it right here, live. This is the reason. Because it's bad. It's pretty bad. And insanely difficult to complete in the first place. So, yeah. That's another Punisher for the enjoyers. Easy. So we have 38,000 damage now for Tychus, 34,000 for Sylvanas. Punisher is going to be claimed. The blue team is trying to get value on the remaining lanes. This little push with Sylvanas at the bottom of the map is exactly what I talked about at the beginning of the game. These little moves by Dino to try and put a minion wave into a position where they can do a lot of structural damage, which they obviously do here. So good for them. Varian, yeah, walking throughout the entire team might not be the smartest shot that he made today. So Varian commits honorable Sudoku and is gone. Distracting, I guess, from the top lane where they're now taking down the fort. And that's, by the way, all the forts destroyed. So this will be the first fort that the blue team finally takes out. When it comes to just structures alone, they're massively behind. Probius with 38,000 damage, by the way. So again, I talked about this earlier. His impact on shrines is going to be massive. Catapult impact could be big too. I mean, right now we have, for example, the Punisher baited over, and that's at least some damage on the keep and also on the wall. So I am not sure if I would leave that Punisher alone like this. Team, what are you doing? This is way too much damage. So now it gets baited into the towers. There's 2 heroes falling over in the middle, so that's good news for the blue team, but that was way too much damage on that keep, if you ask me. That thing is nearly, I mean, that's down to 30% of its HP. But the kills against Torga and Tyrande, those were at least some really good signs for the bounty hunters, and they are now extending that experience lead further and further, getting closer to level 20 talents. Tigers is trying to get away here. I still don't understand why you can root a mech. How is that working? But it's spelling out the end of Breez. So that's a kill, and that's the second fort gone. So all of a sudden, we're having some real momentum for the bounty hunters. Something that they've been missing throughout the entire game, and they can now use Sylvanas to just punish the Enjoyers for this. 2 heroes are defending, that's all. And those 2 are basically not doing anything because they're fully aware if they are getting hit by Garrosh and then there's mind control coming after that, gravity lapse from Khaldor, then it's just gonna be kill after kill, and you can't afford these staggered deaths against you if you're trying to recover. And they also still need experience for level 20 talent, so that's why Probius, for example, moved towards the top, is now playing it safe, and Hearth's back, but that was another wave that they could take out, and with the passive experience gains, they will have level 20 fairly soon. There it is. Still, the last minute hurt. They lost a lot. They did damage to the top lane, so if they win a team fight, for example, they have a very easy shot at taking the top keep out and maybe even go for the core directly. But they need to win that team fight first. Next objective spawns at the bottom of the map. So far, the Enjoyers have done fantastic around those Punishers. We got now Celestial Wrath here. So that could be really helpful for them. If they are able to line that up nicely, the Celestial Wrath with Probius and maybe the taunt that comes in, there's a lot of damage potential here with the level 20 talents. It's going to be harder to take Khaldor out on the other hand, because he now has Flamethrower. So this is going to make it a lot easier for him to apply his Flame Strikes from a safer distance and not fall victim to the Enjoyers. Because let's not forget about this. He's the only one that died so far. Both of the kills that we've seen for the Enjoyers were against Khaldor. Probius on 34,000 damage now. Tigers has taken over again with a 43k. Sylvanas is now the top damage dealer in the game though, with 45,000. But yeah, so here's the moment. Here's the next shrine, and this is going to be an important one. We're 18 minutes into the game right now. Catapults are starting to hurt. Punishers are hurting more and more. Can the red team get into position again to get the Punisher here? I mean, right now, the bounty hunters are trying to zone them out as best as they can. Phoenix is already out, trying to create a little bit of space for them. Tigers has his ult back up, so he can go for the big red button now. Phoenix already gone here, and here comes Odin. So the big red button has been used, and now they have to try and catch up here. And Breez is already low. Breez a bit low. I'm not quite sure on Tyrande and the Starfall here. It's very nice to zone them off, but it's only buying them a little bit of time, and the utility that you would have had in the actual team fight is maybe something that made it worth saving. Another use of mind control by Dino that didn't connect with the target. 25, they're going for it again. They're taking the... I mean, again, they're taking another Punisher from the looks of it. They're 33 already. Blue team is trying to stop it. They have a camp pushing at the top lane too that will maybe take out the fort, just as a bit of a side note here. And yes, it will. That fort will fall. But there's a Punisher at the bottom of the map now. When it comes to just taking the objective, the composition that we're getting from the Enjoyers here is way better than what the Bounty Hunters bring in. Bounty Hunters want kills. They want those team fight wins. But if they have to fight into an enclosed space, it's tough for them. Phoenix is out again. Tyrande still has to wait another 20 seconds until she has her ult in play. But, yep, here it comes. They're trying to go for the kill. Augur, and he makes it out of the fight. So this could be dangerous for the Bounty Hunters. They are about to lose the keep here. The taunt again, Yrel. Yeah, taunting Yrel here. Punisher, 30% of its HP. this keep will fall. Keep is gone. Keep's gone, and they're backing off again. They're backing off here. They're not trying anything. They're just saying, like, all right, we're not going to fight it any further than that. But that's the first... well, actually, it's the second keep destroyed. Sorry, we already had the keep at the bottom of the map taken out earlier, obviously, when the level 20 talent was in. So that relieves some of the pressure. And we are dead even, therefore, in structures right now. 20 minutes into the game. They got to stop the top. That camp, by the way, was money. Money for the bounty hunters. That did so much for them. Took the fort out, took the wall out, opened up a path for later on. So, yeah, that was really good timing that they had on those. 12 stacks now for Khaldor. Now that he has Flamethrower, he's slowly getting there. So, at this point, we have Khaldor on the top damage. Khaldor has actually taken top damage now. 53,000. More than Sylvanas, more than Tychus. And they're just going for the core. They're just sieging up here. They're looking for kill opportunities. They're trying to force them into fights exactly for that reason. Exactly for that reason. They're quick flip, taunt, root, and down goes Tychus. They're going to try and just repeat that play time and time again to get themselves a couple of kills and go for the core. They're just sieging up there. And that is the environment where they are way more comfortable in than fighting for, let's say, the next Punisher. Probius is dead. Yep, the bounty hunters, they just decided, guys, what about we just go for the core and end the game? What do you think about that? And they're like, yeah, alright, let's go. Shield is nearly gone on the core. They're going for the next kill. And yeah, it is tough times for the enjoyers. They're not enjoying this one. I can guarantee you that. The core is losing hit points. There's the mind control connect. Bye-bye Tyrande. She's not going to make it. Bye-bye. And I think Varian is dead as well. Varian goes down too. And that is game. That's a 2-0 victory for the Bounty Hunters as they move on to the winner bracket final. Cut clean victory here with 14 kills, 2-2, as the Enjoyers drop down into the losers bracket of Group B. Very, very nicely done. GG. Well